that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah. Open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AoA, check me out. Look, plugged in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AoA show. I'm your host, as always, Ian, along with my boys, Isaiah.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Gavin.
Oh, what's cooking good looking?
And today we are going to talk about Tower of God Season 2 of the Webtoon, episodes 19 to 28.
Right.
If you didn't catch it already, we just had a live stream earlier going over our live reaction of, those chapters. And now we are sitting down in podcast format to kind of go on more of a deep dive version of this, analyze some of the things we just read and talk about it amongst ourselves, predictions, where we think things are going to go, what we think of this, that, and the third. So you guys know the drill. I have to say, though, quick announcement, and I do apologize because I keep on saying these things on stream, and then YouTube or us being stupid keeps on messing something up. So when this comes out, you could probably catch our full live stream, the uncut version of it, on our channel. As I said to people in the stream, the day that we're done streaming live, YouTube's just taken a while to process the video, quite frankly. So we would like to have them out the same day, but that is something that's out of our control. Doesn't always happen. So you could probably expect that if it hasn't aired already, when you're watching this, you could probably expect it today. Beyond that, unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties when it came to recording the actual full stream in order to then edit said stream and cut it down for highlights, which we normally would do, and something I said that we would do, but life happens, and we don't have a saved version of that. So unfortunately, we're probably not going to have like a highlight version of this tomorrow, being Thursday. And I apologize for that, but you could expect those regularly for the weeks to come. Thank you, everyone, for your patience when it comes to this kind of stuff.
And shout out to YouTube for being a bitch that not lets you save the actual fucking live stream. Because why would we let you save any video that you post except for a live stream? Like I actually,
Kevin, I feel like you're forcing blame on somebody in particular, and I don't know if YouTube appreciates that.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't cancel us. Anyway, but anyway, that's my disclaimer before we move forward. I just want to get that off my chest. Again, thank you everyone for your patience. And yeah, so we're going to talk about these chapters. We had a lot of fun during the live stream, like a lot of fun talking about these.
I would say it was our best stream yet.
I think it was the best stream yet, and I think these were the best chapters yet,
100%.
personally, and in season 2 thus far. We get a lot of things going on, and we're going to break it down. But as usual, guys, make sure if you guys like the content today that you guys are liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, sharing with your friends, and definitely commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of these chapters that we read through? What do you think of season 2 so far, and what do you think about our discussion on the matters as a whole? If you guys are listening on an audio only version on your favorite podcast platforms, make sure you guys are throwing a follow on there. It goes a long way. Definitely hit us up on those socials. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so you can keep up with the latest going on within our lives and within the show as a whole. And hit us up on Patreon. That's patreon.com/AoA show, or all of these links are in the description down below. But anyway, without further ado, let's just hop into it here. We're going to speed through this and kind of hit some of the major things that we wanted to talk about here. So we go back in. Lurker had just killed Naya, and essentially is talking a lot of shit because he thinks he's got the game won, right? He's like, okay, we have 5 rooms, and we have, we already have a full squad. So, this is going to go down this way whether you like it or not. So we go back to Rap Devil and Prince, who is just getting his ass whooped over there, and then we go back to the main homies, right? And I'm going to start calling him Teddy Bear now because we found there's literally a character
we found our Speedy Feats
known for his speed that we're gonna introduce later on, so we'll call him Speedy Feats or Speedy from now on. So just so everyone knows, this is our warning. That's who.
Have to come to terms
F in the chat.
I know. F in the chat. I did like Speedy Feats, but now if there wasn't a character known for speed, I would stick with it regardless of the teddy bear thing. But it's just weird now if we're gonna say that, it's gonna confuse.
I'll accept it for now, but I still might call him Speedy Feats here and there. So
anyways,
it'll slip.
So Teddy Bear, with that being said, is like, I'm gonna go to the next room. I'm going to give up my room. And he's like, I'm going to go over and figure out what the hell's going down, because Rap Devil needs to find or basically Rap Devil needs to wait on Lurker and all them to secure what they got to secure before. So he's just got to watch over Prince, essentially. So then we go back to Bam and Love, who are, duking it out, quite literally. We got some amazing shots here. Like, this is one of my favorite ones, just out of the chapters that we've read, and there were some great ones. But essentially, we come to grips with the fact that Love is kind of just too much of a match, I would say, at this point, although he does recognize that Violet, or Bam, inherently he believes is good, right? He believes that there's something going on with him behind the scenes, and he doesn't want to fail him. He's just kind of doing this out of like, hey, how about you use your abilities for good? And what we realize later is that there's a little more at play there.
Which is great growth for Love, like as a quick little tidbit, because he wanted to fucking ice Violet, and he went from that to realizing his power and then wanting to curate it and trying to steer it in a better direction. So
yeah, exactly.
Really good props for Love.
So then we got Ash Ketchum that comes in, otherwise known as Wang, and he throws his Ultra Ball at Love here, which explodes with like chili powder. And yeah, it's literally chili powder. He goes, "What's this chili powder?" It's like his own concocted bomb, just as a distraction. And I mean, Wang really just showed up in these in these chapters for sure. First of all, these panels are gorgeous, but like beyond that, Wang's character just had so much growth, so much of a major impact on the story and so many characters as a whole. He really just like stepped up to the plate this these chapters coming up. So he basically makes a deal with Bam, right? He has he steals the connector from him essentially. And he says, "I can't beat Rap Devil and Lurker and all those guys on my own here, and I don't really think any of us can, to be honest. I think their team just quite frankly is stronger than ours. I need your help, right? Like, and I know that this is gonna fail us, but I need you, because you're the worst guy I know, to go teach this dude a lesson." And he's like, "I'll just let you pass the test. Like, that's fine," right? So that was definitely threw a wrench into things for sure, right off the bat. And then hopping into episode 20 here. So basically Love is like, what are you talking about right now? Like, just slams him to the ground. He's like, you know what I mean? And then that's when, again, Wang comes and just hits us with a couple, like this first speech, which was just really heartfelt, where he's like, "At last I found someone to enjoy delivery food with." He's talking about all the friends that he's lost coming up the tower with. And, he dies. And he goes, "Does this tower make our dreams come true or force us to give them up? At least shouldn't we punish the bad guys who use others' dreams to fulfill their own?" Which was, pretty awesome. He says, "I can't forgive those bastards. And if the tower allows them up, and if it's because of those bastards that I'm blocked from going up, I'll destroy them all." So Bam, seeing this, we're kind of like left with this, okay, is Bam going to like resonate with it, which he does. He says, "I'll make a deal with the devil," right? And we don't know really like where Bam's at, because he's got this like cool, cold demeanor the whole time, and we're thinking that he's like the stone cold dude, and we find out a little more later, which we'll get into. But he basically throws Bam the connector thing, essentially, right? And we have this cool shot of Ryun that Bam has, and again, this was like more of like, oh, what is this, like a thing? But then when we find out again later what's gonna happen, I mean, this shot now looks a lot more menacing now.
I would think even the first time, for me, the first time seeing that panel, like, I think SIU does this great thing where like nothing goes unnoticed, but you might not register everything the first time you see it. So like, and if there's a panel on somebody, even whether they're talking or not, like, it's there for a reason. He's showing you for a reason. So like, even way back when Wang is having that speech, there's panels that cut back and forth between him and Bam. And then that coupled with that panel there where he's looking at the connector and then he flashes back to Ryun, I think is an indicator, is an obvious indicator that he is resonating with Wang, and that what he's saying does speak to Bam, and whether it completely like moves his character or pushes him is up for debate. But I think it definitely like registers. It definitely,
like he's understanding the situation that's happening.
Agreed. So then we get this beautiful panel right here. I mean, I skipped a bit here, but essentially, Teddy Bear, before Bam gets there, because he doesn't know that, Wang's going to be able to successfully do that or do that in general, goes to basically try and, his hardest in securing the room and the teammates, etc. And so he goes there, all the while Rap Devil's beating their living shit out of Prince, and he goes to fight, them. He immediately dismantles the one bodyguard with the multiple eyes around its head.
Yes.
Like one punch, and then from there Lurker uses the possessed version of Yon to try and fight him. And because Yon is incredibly powerful, right? Because like it's almost, she's actually more powerful that she's possessed in a sense, because we learn later that we kind of knew this, that she really can't control her power at all. Right, so this is like giving her actual concentrated thing. Yeah. And quite frankly, like against Teddy Bear here, I don't know if he's, it's not really stated if he's necessarily holding back a little because he doesn't want to hurt her or whatever the true thing is, but like you could kind of tell that he's outmatched here. Like he at least keeps on getting pushed back.
I actually think that he's not, and I do think he's holding back because
you think so? Okay.
Later when we get to the fight with him and Rap Devil, he clearly almost single-handedly takes him out. And it makes me think that not only was he holding back here, but he was holding back in the initial test when they all had to show their power.
He even says with Prince, where he's like, "Don't tell anybody what you saw." He actually is trying to hold his.
That's
power
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think he's this whole time he's definitely been.
I could
playing
agree with
on
that. I think he's holding back for sure, because even Lurker says, "I could hide behind a girl. I have no shame." Right. So like we clearly know that Teddy Bear doesn't want to hurt her in any way, shape, or form, but she keeps on pushing him back, and basically all of a sudden we get our boy Violet who comes up and just sprints right through all the fire and flames and just fucking jams 2 fingers in Yon's mouth. But at first we're like, what's going on? And then what happens is he just tears the entire parasite out of her body in one shot and basically destroys it immediately, obviously freeing her from the possession, which was insane. So then we, because of that,
Lurker's like, we're fucked.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Essentially. So because of that, we now have the chance for Teddy Bear to come into the room and fight Rap Devil. Now, at this point, again, we don't even know that he's as powerful as he is because, we haven't actually gotten there yet at this point in the panels. But he goes to fight him and he goes, "I'll show you the one that's living inside me," referring to the devil in his right arm. So I don't know here, like I don't know what's going on. So I don't know if it's that Teddy Bear is, just ironically has something in his right arm too that's like super powerful, or if he is the real devil's right arm and this other guy was like a fake of the devil's right arm.
That's what I think it is.
You know what I mean? I think it might be that, where it's like that's why he's trying so hard to hide his identity, and the other guy was just playing up like, I'm the devil's right arm in order to scare people so they protect the boss's son.
Or I wonder if it's almost like a physical curse that people can like do or make a deal with, and it affects them differently. So similar to Viola, how he has this like entity or like exoskeleton that lives inside of him. I wonder if Rap Devil and Teddy Bear have like the similar like thing in their body, whether it's like a physical
I don't actually think
or something.
Rap Devil does, because I agree with what Ian's saying, where I think Rap Devil's essentially a front. He was constructed by the same corporate like criminal organization that's trying to get the prince to get to the top of the tower, like basically hiring this dude and being like, "Hey, we hired the devil's right arm, like don't fuck with him." But Teddy Bear is the actual devil's right arm.
Oh, so similar to like the Violet situation where the guy was fronting being him, and they were like,
and that's why I feel like when way back in the last few chapters when they're in the bath scene and Violet confronts Rap Devil and he's like, "Oh, you're the devil's right arm, right? Like I look forward to seeing that. You're the one who fought Hots." I think that was Teddy. And that's why I think Rap Devil was so like
that would
straight faced during that, because he
sense.
Genuinely doesn't know what he's talking about. Because he wasn't the one who fought Hots. It was Teddy Bear.
That would interesting.
Yeah, we really don't know for certain, but it makes it definitely.
Yeah,
we don't. But I think Isaiah's completely.
Yeah,
I
agree
with him. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying for the record.
Yeah,
fight like it wasn't like when he beats them. One, it's not even like a close fight. Like he clearly manhandles Rap Devil, and like he doesn't even just beat them. Like they're scared of him. Like they're genuine, and I don't think anything but this quote unquote real devil's arm could do that, right? Because the only thing that's scarier than the myth is seeing the real thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's either that, or if that is the real devil that beat Hots, then Teddy Bear is even fucking stronger than we imagine. Like it goes either way. He's fucking stupid strong. But I do actually like your prediction more.
That makes sense. I totally agree. That will be cool to see if we were correct in seeing that or not. But anyway, so again, he dismantles Rap Devil instantaneously. So we know that it's like, okay. And then he's basically like, you don't tell anyone what you saw to Prince. And it's like, oh, okay. So anyway, so then we go to Bam, who comes into Lurker's room, and Lurker's steady talking shit when all of a sudden the boy comes out of fucking left field, Wang, and just fucking punches him straight into the wall, which, by the way, I mean, I know Wang is like not supposed to be very strong, comparatively speaking, but like that's pretty impressive to just like knock someone back like that. So good job, do your thing. And again, so he knocks him into the wall here, and he's like kind of hell bent on revenge at the moment, right? So what's interesting? Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, I kind of skipped ahead, but this is Rap Devil died. Rap Devil lost, and he's like basically don't tell anyone what you saw. But this was a dope series of shots 100%. Here. Yeah, that was really cool. Fucking
teddy bear, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking incredible.
And I love how again, like with SIU and all these purposeful panels, like. None of these panels give you like a direct shot of Teddy Bear, right? It's always like the corner of his body, or you see his eye, like, you know what I mean? So you can't quite place a figure on like exactly what the fuck he is.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So at this point too, he says, this place is cleared. Should I go to Viole's room? If I go now, I might be able to prevent Viole from stealing the room. No, there won't be much I can do there. And he goes, I think whatever he possesses is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So
which is crazy if he is the devil's right arm, because then that means that whether he knows it or not, whatever the fuck it is that's in Viole is even more threatening than his shit.
Exactly. Correct. Yeah. So because he, again, there's like an opportunity for him here, even though he got Viola's help to go and try and beat him now because he can't trust what's going to go on. But he's like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like I'll take test again or whatever if I have to. So anyway, then we get another ass whooping here on Lurker, and without going like too hard on like every panel by panel, we get this like really awesome dialogue between Lurker and Wang here, where Lurker is basically comparing him to himself and saying that it's at the end of the day that he's like, you realize like I'm in debt too. I borrowed money from the boss. And like I'm fucked. He said, but after I failed, I saw the size of my debt. That's when I found out I'd been scammed. He's scammed as well. He goes, I couldn't deal with it, so I went to the boss to beg for my life. You and I are not different from each other. I had to give up on going up the tower, and I started this job. I've also been preyed on, which was, I think the name of this arc was Prey. So that was interesting. And he's like, do you think that, basically Wang goes back, and he's like, that's not an excuse, dude, like for doing what you did.
It's such a great comparison, because again, I love the idea that this tower sort of beats it into your head with this idea is like, look man, nobody here when it comes down to it is different. Everybody here has been fucked. That's why we're all here, and the only way to get out of it is to get to the top and do whatever it takes to do that. But it's again this duality of like, does getting to the top by any means necessary outweigh getting to the top with your friends and morals intact? Like if you give that up to get to the top, is it even worth what somebody, I forget who, much later in these has a line where they say, is the garbage at the top worth more than whatever? I think it's the administrator to Bam. When he's talking to him, he's like, I guess he says, I guess the garbage at the top was worth more to her, meaning Rachel, than you, when he's talking to Bam.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great line, because it's like, nobody knows what's at the top of this tower. You're not promised anything, but it's this idea of what could be there that's so much, like, that's worth it more to people than anything, in people's lives, than, friends, anything. Yeah. And so it's, this duality here where it's like, Wang could become like Lurker, right? And just kill this dude and start icing people when they get in his way, or find a different way, right? Find another way to get to the top, which again is a nice mirror to Bam and his philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. So you said it better than I could. So essentially they have this talk, and Wang threatens to kill him, but then he can't do it. He's about to, hit the Pokeball off, and then he decides to throw it away. And he goes, if I forgive you, the ones tricked by Naya will forgive Naya. I'm sure they will. So he's basically saying, like, if I put goodness forward, the hope is that you can now find it in your heart to be good, which doesn't always work, but it's a very noble sentiment, to be able to forgive. So Lurker doesn't like that, and he's like, who do you think you are that, you know what I mean, like, that you're righteous enough to be able to forgive me? Like, just kill me, dude. Like, nobody in this tower can forgive me. So Wang is just like, fuck that noise again. And he's like, no, like, I'm going to change everything that made you like this, which was, and ensure nobody ends up like you ever again in this tower, because the whole thing's fucked. And, at this point, it was crazy because, we were reading this live and we were like, it was like huge. So and then this panel here really just kind of sealed the deal, right? Yep. He goes like, thank you, Viola. And at this point, because he says you can finish the test now, we don't know what Bam's going to do. Right, Excuse me. So now Bam clicks the button, right? So you think that, sure, okay, so he was swayed by Wang's decision. And, because then we have Love or whoever saying who passed the test, and, the 8 people who passed or whatever, right? And then what you realize is that, and I believe they say it in this next chapter here, right off the bat.
Wang says it.
That Wang essentially is going over the test and says that he swapped the connectors.
Yep.
So really, that means that Bam didn't choose that he wasn't swayed, right? Or like even if he was swayed, because of what we find out later, it wasn't enough, right? Like he's like, it doesn't matter. Like I cannot.
He wouldn't have made a different decision.
Exactly, right? Because he knows that, you know, they're all going to get iced if he brings them up anyway. So anyway, so then, you know, Naya's dead. He basically goes up. He's like, you know. So then they have this cheers thing. They pass the test. They all have some dialogue with one another. Again, we see the Wang side of him where he's just, you know, it's like he's fucking all cocky and stuff. He's just like a funny kid. And he kind of has this conversation with Violet on the balcony here, and Violet basically is like, so why did you forgive that guy? Right, trying to pick his brain, and he's like, I may end up killing more people than that guy does, so you know what I mean, like, are we really different? Like, all we could really do is try. And then, you know, Violet says, what are you going to change up at the top? And he says, this tower creates walls between people. I just want to make a place where everybody can smile under the same roof. And he's like, I want a wider sky, essentially, with all, you know, the makeshift stars there and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, we getting to Bam. So then we go to Love and
Gus.
Gus, yeah, just greatest name. Makes me laugh every time. And basically, Gus is like, okay, you fucked up. And Love is like, I get it, I'll resign. He's like, don't worry about it, let's just eat some chicken. And he's like, we're having...
That is an expedited version of this conversation.
Incredible. Sorry, we got a lot of chapters covered here.
No, that's good. I'm just saying, like, that's a perfect way to sum it up. He's like, I'm sorry, don't worry about it, nigga, just have some chicken.
Yeah, he's like, oh, whatever, like, you'll get over it, dude.
You gotta eat chicken they don't like, that's your punishment.
Yeah, he's like, you want fried chicken? He's like, I don't like fried chicken. He's like, you're eating fucking fried chicken. Yeah. So, and then he's like, can we have spicy rotisserie chicken? He's like, just get out.
It's literally like a parent and kid conversation. It's like, but mom, and they're like, you're eating healthy. And you're like, come on.
So then we realize that Gus has more to play here too, because he says he's too naive. He was provoked by the fire wave explosion and couldn't even kill a Fug. Well, thanks to that, I achieved my goal, right? Deep sea fish. This is Gus. Things have gone as planned. Yes, the prince passed our exam. So they want everything is as Fug wanted. So they want Prince, you know, to go up the tower. You know, the Fug does essentially, right? And he didn't want Love to kill Bam, and he's clearly in with them. We don't know who Deep Sea Fish is exactly.
Yeah, somebody.
But yeah. Or we don't know if it's like he's got his own thing. If he's like, you know, if he is even part of the Fug, because he doesn't specifically say like I'm part of the Fug. He just says that like, thank God he didn't kill the Fug, because if he did kill him, then Prince also would have died.
Yeah, if he's not part of the Fug, he's definitely working with them in some capacity, I feel.
You think? Okay. Yeah. He did. Well, his main thing is he wants Prince to go up that tower for whatever reason.
Right. So
we don't
whether
know.
It's
whereas the Fug is that
temporary.
Violet wants to go up the tower. You know what I mean?
But I think Fug, at least to a certain point, definitely wants the Prince to go up, because again, I think like if they either can get him to a certain floor and then take him out. Like, I think there's a message they're trying to send, essentially, by manipulating the prince to whatever floor they want.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be opposed to the idea that other administrators are in on this, similar to like Hansung in terms of like pulling strings. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
And Lurker even says it earlier that like the only reason the prince is here is because hella people have gotten paid off and coerced into basically, you know, fucking up with these tests so that the prince can pass. Yeah. So his whole presence here essentially is not only a lie, but it's proof that this tower is nothing but the corruption that is breeded within it.
Exactly.
So if Fug, you know, if you wanted to send a message to Jihad, like, yo, look, I fucked up this tower. It's like you bring this dude to the top and then you kill him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then all their hard work just goes out the window.
Yeah. So anyway, so then from there, Love is like, congrats, you passed. And we have some funny panels that I kind of breezed over there. So then we go to a couple floors up here and we have a conversation going on, and they're talking about, you know, who this guy is, who the, you know, the Slayer is that killed you know, that went toe to toe with the Ranker and this, that, and the third. And we see our boy KHUN again. He goes, I've never heard of that lame family name, because they're like, what family is he from? It's like probably Mule or whatever, right? And so at this point, we were really stoked because our boy KHUN is back, and we kind of see what's going on with KHUN now. We got a couple chapters to spy on him, right? So we are now introduced to the new Speedy feats, whatever you want to call him here. He's the scout, Eden Dan, who is known for his speed, right? Like nobody could ever catch him. So we have this really cool like conversation / mental chess game, which like you're not beating KHUN at least if you're on like you're not
I
like
wouldn't even call it a game, because I mean KHUN plays this nigga like a fiddle, bro.
For real, right? So basically KHUN is like, join my team, right, for an expedited version. And the guy's like, fuck off. Like, I'm not joining your team. I don't want to go up the tower. I've seen enough, right? Because people get like shell shocked from the 20th floor because they realize like all the shit that goes down. And they're like, I'm cool with being an E person, right?
Yeah,
like
that's
regular.
Like, I'm irregular.
Good. Yeah.
I'm good with it, man. Like my life is good up here. And so he basically resigns himself to being like a hunter. So within the confines of this floor, he's pretty damn powerful, like all things considered, right? So he doesn't want to go up the tower. And so KHUN basically bribes him, and he puts a suspendium stone in front of him, and a large one at that, which would basically make him like a billionaire or something like that, right? It's like a exorbitant amount of money. So the guy's like, yeah, okay, like I'll take that, right? And KHUN's like, okay, you can have it if you beat my thing, right? And he says, try your best to get out of here, avoiding all these people. And he's like, if you get out, you get the stone. And he's like, if not, you're on my team, right? So then he says, he's like, okay, like I could easily get out. But KHUN's like, but I did hire everyone in the shop to try and stop you. And he's like, okay, then I'll just run for the exit right next to you. So he sprints to the exit, realizes it's blocked off, which was this was just awesome, right? He goes, I'll take this. He takes the stone, he runs, it's blocked off. KHUN comes up behind him, and he goes, no, I didn't hire everyone out there. He's like, I just went to block you off. So you're like, oh, okay, KHUN, like get him. And then you realize, that the guy's like, what are you, an idiot? Like, even though I'm trapped here, I'll just get past you. So then he flies past him again, right? And like, it's funny because the whole time he's like, you tricked me? KHUN's like, why would I not? You know what I mean? Like what? What do you think this is, right? So he runs out again, and then goes to like the food clerk guy over here, and just gets blasted with a tractor in the neck. You're like, oh damn, bro! Just fills him full with that shit, knocks him out almost, and he's like, you got to be freaking kidding me! Like, you hired everyone here, you lied to me. And KHUN's like, yeah, I lied to you twice.
I'm sorry, you trusted me?
Yeah, he's like, what? That's your fault. So, excuse me. So he's able to obviously secure him, and the bag.
Yep.
That's how I totally forgot. That's how that's how he brought him in. Puts him in the bag, and brings him home, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah,
wherever the hell he's living now.
Somewhere.
Yeah, they got a lodge up on Cloud Mountain or whatever the hell's going on. So it's
KHUN.
Yeah,
well,
it's KHUN, right? So he dumps the new team member there. And he's like, take care of him, right? And then we get introduced to that guy later. So then he knocks on the door and he says, can I come in? And
do we even need to talk about these scenes?
Right? So this for us, again, if you watch the live stream, was like, oh my God. We actually had to take a break here to mentally prepare for seeing Rachel again.
Exactly. We did.
And he says, can I come in? So now we go back to what's going on here. And she goes, wait, like for a second. And then she's like, how was your trip? I've been thinking so much about Bam. Like, what happened? It's awful. And all while she's doing that, we go back to Speedy here, who's talking to Novik. Novik. Yeah. Kevin goes, no. Close enough, Gavin.
It's an honest attempt.
Yeah.
Ow, bet my fucking tongue. We can't win.
We have, whoops, my fucking phone flipped here. We have Novik, the spear bearer, as part of KHUN's team, which again, it's funny, right? Because it's like, looks are so unassuming. Like, you see this giant dude who's like, I'm the spear bearer, right? And he's like fucking 3 feet taller than everyone. You think he's like, you kind of stereotype, like, automatically where you're like, okay, is this guy going to be like stupid or whatever? Is he going to be hot tempered? Like, there's got to be something. And he's like pretty fucking chill. He's like, listen, the guys out there, don't fuck with the whole Rachel KHUN thing. First of all, it's weird. Second of all, these are the people that are out there. And he's like, breaks down the whole thing just like so eloquently. Yeah. It's just like hilarious. I don't know why. I like this character a lot. So he basically explained this to him, what the hell is going on. He basically says, hurling's my specialty. And, then we get introductions here. And the whole time he's like, so what's the deal with the girl upstairs? Like, they got a weird relationship. He's like, don't bring it up. So we go back to them after they have a little more dialogue there. She goes on about the things that I had said, essentially. He's like, that's weird. And he's like, all right, I'm going to introduce you. Don't bring that up. So then they go outside here, and he's like, all right, I'm going to introduce you to the squad here. And we just see how, like, kind of menacing this dude is, considering he's like a literal, like, almost 2 of this guy. Which is pretty impressive all on its own. Yeah. And we get introduced now to the new squad, right, that KHUN has recruited. And we were just like, what the fuck is going on here? We got this guy, right? It looks like he's about to, I don't even know, go work in like a hotel or something like that. We got the bank teller on his left. We got Chicken Little with a ninja star on his right. And then we got the boy in the back.
Lil KHUN.
Yeah, Lil KHUN, who, we don't know really what's up with him at this point. Yeah, he's just mean mugging, right? So he introduces them to the team. They all say who they are. We got Apple, we got Mike, we got Chicken Little, or Gitang, but I like Chicken Little. We got the fisherman Ran, the whole nine, right? So, and he says why they're here, and he says, well, Chicken Little's here because he says that, you know, he's gonna meet Princess Endorsi, and he's like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, like the one with the knock and hots, and it's like, yep. So, you know, because KHUN knows him. So again, we go back. You know, KHUN's like, don't worry about it, Rachel. You need anything, you just let me know, blah, blah. And at this point, we were like, right before she does this, we're like, do you think he knows? Do you think he knows? And we're like, I don't know if it was like from, you know, from the very start.
Y'all niggas said that. Do not throw my name in this
First of all,
I knew from the jump
simmer down.
that my man KHUN was on it.
Simmer down. Okay, you asked.
I will not take this blasphemy. This BS.
We'll clip it. Anyway, so we had the conversation about if we think KHUN knows, and we basically came to the conclusion that we're like, we think he does. As far as how long did he know from the beginning, whatever, that was, you know, not 100%, but, you know, we find that out soon enough. So from this point, we just, our hatred for Rachel is just utterly solidified.
You had her face on the screen for a little bit too long there.
Yeah, when she just pops up, and not only does she like, you know, she just like walks around, but she's like stretching, she's dancing around, she's like, oh, I'm getting treated like a princess, blah, blah, like I'm gonna meet my star soon. And it's just like, oh, you snake. So then we have KHUN and is talking to Shibasu over the pocket. And then that's when we realize that he knows that she lied, because he's been spying on her with his lighthouse this whole time. And we're like, oh, shit. Like, what? And we're like, okay, just him and Shibasu know? Like, are they keeping it under wraps for certain things? Like, what's the game plan here? And so KHUN's got something going on, right? And from this point, we were just so stoked, because we were like, thank God that he knows what's good here. And we have a flashback here because he says to Shibasu, basically, he's like, I know she lied to us because I talked to Lara Ro. And Lara Ro said that her injuries were not even, you know what I mean? Like, not even bad at all. The wound she sustained was there was no reason that would paralyze her for life. So she's totally fine. She lied. And you know, Shibasu's like, why? And KHUN is like, you know, why she fooled us. I don't necessarily know what her reasons are. She could be being threatened by someone. You know, like there's something going on between them, but like, I don't know what it is. And Shibasu's like, all right, so what do we do? And so KHUN basically devises a plan. He says, okay, you can't tell anyone. Because the whole reason we're all together like this right now, because we should have been a bunch of dysfunctional idiots, which we are, but now we're a coherent group of dysfunctional idiots, is because of BAM, right? And if they find out that the whole reason that BAM kind of brought us together to begin with was a sham, they're all going to implode. They're going to destroy themselves from the inside out.
We got to play the long game here in order to get this done correctly.
Classic KHUN, right? So he basically says, go up the tower separate from me. We'll pick a point. We'll split. You take everyone there. You're going to do that. I'm going to hang back with Rachel. I'm going to find another team. And from that way, I could keep tabs on her, because obviously that squad can't know what's going on. I'm going to keep tabs on her with my team and ingrain it in their heads that we hate this bitch right from the get. And when the time is right, we'll destroy her, right? But we need to kind of see what's going on. We need to play this correctly.
Right, because I think he also emphasizes here that while they know, or I mean, he says in these panels, that Rachel, suspecting that she might be the one that killed him, although I think he is almost like he's a little bit more sure that she killed him. They don't know why. So keeping her around is like, she's the closest person that's linked to why BAM disappeared. So
whether it's her or an external
exactly.
force.
So staying close to her and getting in her head is getting closer to finding out what happened with BAM. Why did he have to die? And
he also has like a little bit of a personal vendetta here, because he says, you know, the cruelest person, the cruelest among us should bear that burden. To, you know, basically destroy her. And she's the only clue that BAM's killer's left behind. I'm not going to let her go easily. Let's be quick, go up the tower and split it when the time comes. When the time is right, I'll stay behind and make a new team. I will act as a boundary, and I'll protect and keep an eye on Rachel, he says. And then, you know, he's gonna destroy her. So at that point, so then we go back to the new squad, And Novik is like, okay, we're going to run a test here to see who's strongest. We're all going to fight. And he's like, sure, I got it or whatever. And he's like, you can give up if you want. He's like, no, why would I give up, Speedy? And all the other guys are like, I give up. And he's like, what? And then immediately just gets like body slammed into the fucking
Or he was like, I'll give up too. And it didn't even matter.
Yeah, he's just dead.
A second too soon.
So then really this was the reason was because now
he just wants to fight.
Novik
Ran.
wants to fight. What's his name again? Ran. Yeah, he just wants to fight. No, please. He wants to fight Ran. And they go into this backstory where Ran is like one of the top 5 among the people on this level, and Novik is probably among the top 10. So he needs to prove himself because when they initially fought, and you're assuming this is probably why Novik is part of this team, because KHUN obviously had to play to everyone. Like you would assume that like the really strong people, he had to do some sort of underhanded shit in order to like get them on the team because they would have just done their own thing. So I'm assuming that because he said, Ran was the person he fought initially when he had joined the team. Ever since he's been staying on because he's like, I need to fight. So KHUN kind of like reminds me like the Vinland Saga parallel where like, Askeladd steers Thorfinn in a direction based off what his main purpose is.
Yeah.
KHUN seems to be steering Novik in a direction, being like, you have the ability, you know what I mean, to fight him and beat him.
And it's funny because a while ago we did, actually I think it's coming out this week if I'm not mistaken. We did a tier list episode on the smartest anime characters, and like when we had a discussion about KHUN, one of the things that kept coming up was the fact of like ill experience, right? That like we haven't seen him sort of like flex his brain muscles, quote unquote, enough to really judge it. But I think even in this, like, you have this idea that essentially for the past 6 years, he has been putting together this plan that involves like just fair too many, small variable parts in it that like only somebody of, just immeasurable intellect could put together and pull off, quite frankly. It's one thing to get all of these pieces on the board, but like to be able to win the game with them, I think is something only someone like KHUN could do.
Yeah, exactly. Very impressive. So they go at it here, Ran and Novik, and Ran is basically, you're just fucking annoying, and just blasts him with like an atomic bomb's worth of power out of his hand. Like levels the whole freaking place.
That's a KHUN for you.
Yeah,
it's funny because he's a fisherman too. He's not even like a wave controller.
Yeah.
As well.
Pretty crazy. So anyway, then they come back to the meeting.
Scene.
And this was hilarious because you're like, because KHUN is like, what the fuck is with the uniforms here? Like, what are you, a basketball team or whatever? And then they're the team uniforms that Mr. Novik ordered. So it's funny that like Novik, you know what I mean? Like Novik is an interesting character to me because he seems like this giant brute dude who's like, fight me and everything like that. But then at the same time, it's like, let's all get basketball uniforms together so we can match. Like, I don't know. It was just fun. It's just interesting. Like he's an interesting guy to me.
He's much more about the sort of team camaraderie thing than he lets on.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just funny. But it's funny because he got 2 of the sizes wrong. So his is like super tight and then Rand's is just like ginormous, I guess, on him or whatever.
Because he didn't buy them. He didn't get them wrong on purpose. He bought the number one outfit in his size because he thought he was going to beat Rand, and he bought the number 2 in Rand's size because he thought Rand was going to lose, but he didn't. So now
I did not know that.
You didn't know?
Okay, I did not put that together. And that makes that 1,000 times funnier now.
That's why I was.
That's why on the live stream when we were dying, we were like, "Oh my god, this guy!"
Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, I didn't
because everybody else's outfits fit perfectly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. He's about teamwork and camaraderie, but that's if he is the number 1 leader. Like that's his stipulation.
He's like, with this team, he will never be on top.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Okay, he just bought those ahead of time. Anyway, so KHUN goes over his goal once again to be the next head of the KHUN family. He's like basically drilling this into them every time. It's like, I'm going to be the head of the KHUN family. I need his powers. I promise I will grant your wishes when I become the head of the KHUN family. But in exchange, I ask you for one thing. He goes to be the boundary that protects Rachel or whatever. And then we have this like internal dialogue. I suspect that Rachel might have killed Bam, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, always help her, be nice to her, and pretend to be friendly. He goes, but remember, don't let your guards down. Don't think she's your friend so that you can ignore her screams when the time comes. Hate her because she's the girl who killed my best friend. Which was like
goosebumps, bro. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah,
so
that
much.
was crazy. And he goes, I'm sorry, Bam. And then we scroll down and Rachel just has this like fucking maniacal laugh, dude, because she's just fucking crazy. And it's just like, get her, KHUN. Like, do what you got to do, bro. Like,
play this game if you got to, man, but fucking win.
Dude, I can't even imagine what's going to happen when KHUN finally meets Violi. Like in the future, because they're going to come back in contact.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sooner than we think because KHUN's introduction starts with him learning of Bam's existence, right? Because remember the whole publicity that Violi got from that encounter, everybody knows about, and that's what they were talking about when we meet KHUN.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then we go back to the new squad, the squad with Bam, I guess, or really Wang. I think
it's Bam. He owns the house.
That's
the one stipulation.
That is actually very fair. Yeah. So we have Yan, Miss Yan, or whatever, talking to one of the people, and they're like, "Oh, did you hear about this guy? He's going around, he's doing all this stuff." And then she's like, "Yeah, that's the guy on my team," And she's like, this whole situation.
Don't meet this crazy person. He's with crazy people. And she's like, you don't say.
So she goes back home, and this was funny because it was like this dysfunctional family thing going on.
It's really
it was
nice and kind of funny how quick they melded into that family mold of Rap Dad is obviously, he's chilling doing his thing. The Prince and the are just doing their thing, fucking playing Wii Fit and whatever. And you've got the bratty little sister Yeon, and then you got fucking Wang, the college kid who's it just fits way too well, and it's hilarious.
It's so funny. So then they get in this argument basically where she's like, "Listen, Violi is bad. He's bad news." And Wang's like, "Honestly, I think he's cool and he cooks better than you. So I kind of don't give a shit, honestly. Even if he was, it is what it is, right?" Yeah. And Wang, I think, has a little more context because he was with him. You know what I mean? Violi, the whole time when he gave that second speech with the Pokeball, and he had
that's true. But he also we do learn that her disdain, she's got a specific grief with the Fug that Wang doesn't have, so she's probably naturally a little less trusting of him.
Yeah. So she's basically stalking him, and she's like, "I'm find out what's going on with you." So then we see Bam with the drip.
Boy.
Yeah, just looking like a stud, bro.
Ooh, stud, dude.
Let's do it.
Even those shoes.
Right? For real. So she's stalking him, and she's like, "All right, it's only a matter of time before you show your true self." So he goes in this karaoke place, and she's like, "Karaoke at this hour?" So we go in, and we see this escalation going down with this guy who claims to be Violi, and he's holding up the woman the employee that works here, and then
I didn't catch this when we were during the stream, but he's literally wearing a shirt that
it says Fug.
I said that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So, it was funny. He's
that's what made it funny. Yeah.
He's really playing it up the party.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because we know that now news of Violi has gone around.
Right. So everybody's trying to be
exactly. I'm the guy. So he's going around, and the one employee here is shitting her pants, and then the other one is no other than Ryun, who we see again, and he's like, "I'm getting angry," and she just she's like, "Oh, okay, you're him, huh? I know you're not, but I'm gonna play this game for a second here." She's like,
"You're really lame."
Yeah, she's like, "Actually, you're a fat pig,"
and you're a fat pig.
Which is and he freaks out. He goes to attack her. And then we have Bam, who steps in and is basically just like, "All right, fuck off. Playtime's over here." So then we get some people. They run out of the the karaoke place here, and that's when he sees that Yeon is following him essentially, right? And Ryun's like, "Hello." So then this was cool too. So we got a couple additional cartoons, second epilogue additional cartoons, which kind of provided a little bit of context that did have to be cut during it. So one of the ones I found to be particularly funny was Prince and his kind of turnaround, I guess, because the whole time up until the point where he moves in, he's the biggest dickhead of all time. And then when he's in there, though, he's playing video games with the girls, and it seems like they're cool with him or whatever. And it's he's like, "All right, I'm not going to rely on my dad. I'm going to grow up here." So that was nice to see a little context as to why he's like that now. And then another one that was funny was that Wang, Yeon, and Arc Raptor were trying to think in their head about the perfect home to buy and all their different reasonings. Location's the most important thing. All I really need is a roof over my head, or the right house is key to raising a child. And then they're basically just the best house, please. We'll take that one.
Actually, we'll go with him. What he's doing.
Yeah, it was funny, right? And then this one too, which was really sad when Wang was eating the noodles, and then he put the coupon there that he got from
Nia.
Thank you, Nia. Anyway, so then we go back to the karaoke
place,
club or whatever, and this new guy comes out. Who's like, "What is she, a new member?" And we're like, "Who's this guy?" So we know that he's kind of part of the squad. He's part of Fug, right? Yeah. So we get introduced to him as Jin Sung, and we realize that he's actually a high ranker.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's very powerful. He's the one who essentially trained Bam.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy is no joke, and we could only assume that at least at this point, he has the leg up over Bam in power, even as talented as Bam is.
Somebody said this in the chat, and I didn't get a chance to read it during, but they said essentially for like a scope on his power, imagine if like Madara rolled up into like the beginning of Naruto. Like that's the scale of between Bam and this guy. So it's like this guy is clearly now. I don't actually remember.
Wait, that's just between Bam and this guy?
This is what I'm saying. I don't remember if it was specifically between Bam and him, or if it's between Jin Sung and everybody we know.
Okay.
But either way, that puts this man at the literal top when it comes like. This
and then it makes you think, then how is Jihad? Like he like that's what makes you realize.
Yeah, well, that's you know what I mean. All of this work that everybody's putting in here is to kill Jihad. So it takes a village, you know what I mean, to kill this king.
Dead ass, man. That's crazy.
A village and a lot of money.
So basically, Yon kind of talks shit on his perm thing and everything, and she talks shit on Bam for being like, "I'm not your teammate. Like you're a disgusting thug. This, that, and the third." And so Bam is just like, "Enough," and just fucking, you know what I mean? He's like, "I'm over this." So he's like, "All right, so what are we doing?" Ryun's like, "Let's just take this meeting to your house," and Bam's like, sure.
Let's go to your place." Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So then this was funny because they're all just like sitting at the table here with their like whatever it is, like watermelon and apples. It looks like sliced apples, which is really funny.
I guess they brought fruit.
That's they brought fruit there, right? And so we get this dialogue between
like everybody's like, "Oh, you're more fug people. Awesome! I totally love having you known criminals in this house. That's great. Oh, you're the ones that trained this crazy killer. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Please sit here and eat our food and don't kill us."
So then we have this conversation between Rap Daddy and Yon, and basically he's like, "Why don't you trust him so much? This, that, and the third." And she's like, "As a member of the Yon family, this, that, and the third." And she's like, and then we get to the point where it's like, you know, because he's like, "You could have left, right? Like if you were this much, you know, up in arms about the whole thing, you just leave, right? You could get a new team. You're part of the family." And she's like, "Well," and he's like, "Yeah, I already know. You can't control your power, and you can't leave. Like you need us, right?" So he's like, "Don't worry about it. We got you." And again, Raptor, just like kind of the homie. I have to say, he's like
fucking
kind of top 5 for me in my characters right now. I really like him a lot.
To be honest, dude, this whole I love this whole group, man. There really isn't anybody in this group that I don't fuck with now. I mean, like Prince is at the bottom, but he's on the list now. But to where before he definitely wasn't, you know.
But speaking of that, did Teddy Bear not make the? He didn't make the cut, did he? Because he is.
No,
hasn't
I
been
think
in any of these shots.
he actually left after that test.
Did he? Because that's what I noticed. Like in looking back at this, it's been lingering. I'm like, we haven't seen Teddy Bear since he bought the house.
No. Because remember in that room, he told Rap Devil and Prince, "Don't tell anybody I was here. Forget what you saw when you refer to this." So I think he left after that because how would like you know what I mean? It would be so much harder, one, story beat purposes, to like have Prince, you know what I mean, for Prince not to reference that if he's in his fucking shadow every 5 minutes. So I think he just straight up left the group. Like he's not.
Yeah. So there were 8 of them, right? So we have Bam and then 7 others, right? Was what it was supposed to be. So it's Bam, obviously. We have Yon, Wang, the 2 sisters, Arc Raptor, Prince. Are we sure it's not him? Am I missing someone? The last guy? I don't know. Because that panel, because they showed the panel of everyone who passed, and I can't remember if they showed him.
Well, I think he might have passed, but I'm saying he left the group. Like he's not part. He's still left, but he's not part of this.
Okay, I thought he'd be like part of the team.
No.
Well, because technically he would be part of the team.
Yeah,
like he has to be.
He kind of.
Well, he just might not be living with them.
That's what I'm saying. Is that he passed and he's part of this group. He's just physically not here with them.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like I didn't know if he had passed or not.
Left. He's keeping his distance on purpose.
Yes,
because of the thing he told Prince.
No,
okay.
That I understand. My question was if he had originally passed or not because of leaving in that scene. Is what I'm getting at. Like,
yeah, essentially,
because it would make sense why he's not there in the house, but like technically he would be a part of their group.
Yeah, understood. All right. My bad. I was.
But either way, it was just a thought that crossed my mind. Like, you know, not seeing him.
Yeah. So then basically it's Ryun and Wang having a one-on-one conversation, and Wang's like, "What's your deal?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and Ryun's like, "Well, we're trying to use Bam or Violet, to kill Jihad." Yeah. And Wang is like, "That's not going to work because Jihad has a contract with like the king administrator or whatever the fuck. Like he's the king, right? And like you can't kill him. Like that's part of the contract is that you cannot kill him.
Or anybody in that like
regulars.
Yeah, regulars.
Or that's what it is. It is. It's a contract with the king administrator,
correct,
who states that no regulars can kill.
Yeah, like
Jihad.
Reside in this tower. But technically, since he's an irregular, he's an exception.
But then we realize, exactly that she's like, but we've been waiting. And Bam or Violet can kill him. You know why? Because he doesn't have to abide by the rules of this contract because he's an irregular.
As Eminem once said, we got one shot. Do not miss your opportunity.
Is that why everybody is in the chat saying Eminem?
Yeah, they were saying that.
I saw them saying that, but I thought because somebody said something about like, I don't even remember what it was. It was like Eminem does a backflip diamond flip flop kick or something next week or something.
Oh, people.
And I thought it was like alluding to some spoiler or something for next week's chapters. I don't know.
That was just a weird thing because you said that, and I was like, "Is that why people were saying Eminem in the chat?"
I don't think. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so she basically, breaks it down that, and she might be saying it also in this chapter. I can't remember, but essentially that. She tells Wang that it's like he doesn't have a choice because we've established that these guys are way stronger than Bam is, or at least the main baddie here is stronger than him, his trainer. And, we get a flashback on I believe it's this chapter here of Han Sung, who basically, I think we'll get there in a second.
Right here.
Right here, who basically is like, all right, dude, you make up your mind yet? You want to be part of the squad or what? It's been 4 days. He's like, you've been sulking a bit. I think it's time. Bam's just kind of being a depressed wreck. Han Sung's just like, all right, then there's no choice. Before your teammates left, I gave him a ring. And it's not just a ring. I could kill them with the ring.
Well, it's a tracking device.
Yeah, it's a tracking device, and I'll get them killed, essentially, right? And basically says, if you don't comply, I'm going to kill them, right? Starting with Rachel. And Bam's like, don't do it. Don't kill her. And he's like, you've been tricked, and you're still trying to save her. And then Bam is now blaming Han Sung, essentially, which is kind of interesting, right? Because, again, it's not, he has still this thing for Rachel. Where he's like, I don't want to, it's not like I just want to go up there and ice her immediately. Like there's something between them still going on. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like we don't know if he's just going to
I think if anything, like, rightfully so, like he's curious, he wants to know what has driven her into this state.
Exactly.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, and then
so that's where he has that line that I was talking about.
Yeah, he says the garbage at the top of the tower was more important than you, essentially. And he goes, today we'll start training you to be a slayer. If you show the slightest hesitation, I'll kill your friends one by one. Let's see how many of them survive.
Which is interesting also now that I think about it, that the administrator specifically refers to the top of the tower as having garbage up there. As in he's been there and that there's nothing up there worth more than like friendship or what these guys have down here. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Wait, what's amazing though is on the name sheet it says albino crossed out, turtle crossed out, crocodile ? That's amazing for Rag. That's actually awesome.
That is really funny.
That's funny.
And I don't know why Ho's not crossed out.
What?
What do you mean?
Because he wrote it at the time. No. They were just crossing their names out for funnies.
Yeah. I think he literally
was from a while back.
They didn't know what to write.
You know what I mean? Or he was correcting himself. With each other.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then it says friends of the 25th Bam. And then from there we have the boy who comes in and he's basically like, all right, I'm your trainer now, essentially. And
I'm gonna teach you to
Wang is like, well, that is supremely fucked up. Like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. For starters, he's like, you guys are cruel pieces of shit. And basically Ryun lets him have it and saying like, listen, dude, like sympathy, justice, it's not always the answer.
Right.
Like, we don't think it's right either that God gave him this destiny, but like, here we are. This is our one opportunity to do this. We've been waiting for a long time. Like, if he's not going to snap with it, we're using force. Like, that's it. Like, this is our literal one shot.
Is a cute sentiment, but it's not something that you can apply to every situation.
Exactly.
We only quite literally have one chance to kill this nigga, and we're going to do it now.
It's not every day that an irregular just comes through the door and one as gifted as Bam, because we know that the irregulars are incredibly gifted, but it's been said multiple times that Bam in particular is like incredibly gifted. So like, if anyone, they're going to be like, all right, choose your character to go up against Jihad, like, Bam, like you're clicking Bam,
like Bam's
right?
party leader. And put in whoever else.
Bam's party leader.
Exactly, right? So, so then we have again this conversation out here on the balcony here, and he, so nice. Now Wang kind of understands everything what's going on with Bam, and he's like, he apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry that I thought you were the bad guy. You're actually a really good guy. And he goes, if I were your friend, I wouldn't regret risking my life for you. He's like, let's pass the next exam no matter what. And then they have this, friend, and then they have this cool, shot here with a beautiful night sky. And it's like, all right, the boys are back. And then we have Yan who comes up, and Wang immediately starts fucking with her, being like, oh, it's not because you want what Bam's packing. You know what I mean? She's like, shut the fuck up. And then we got, they start fighting. And then we got the what's his name again?
Jinsung.
Jinsung? Okay, Jinsung hanging out up here when he looks across and then sees that there is someone in the distance. And we don't know who it is. And he says, you're here.
Except we do.
Karaka. Except we do. Like, we don't know. I'm sorry.
At that moment.
Like, yeah. We didn't know at that moment, number one. And number two, I mean by, like, we have heard the name Karaka alluded to as the last layer, but we've never met him. Yeah, so we know he's here.
This man has business.
Yeah, like, whatever the deal is, here he is, essentially. So then we have 4 days later, 21st test floor spot. And then there's the boy with them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. There's the boy. We got teddy bears back in action. So he might have just been away from home, or he is avoiding them in some way, shape, or form, whatever.
Well, that's what I mean. I think he's part of the team. He's just not staying in the house.
Maybe, yeah.
Meesing's gift.
Maybe it's the shirt.
It's a sweater or whatever he's wearing.
Yeah.
So
then Prince and Wang are fighting about the team things, and he's like, "What's with that name?" Because he calls them Sweet and Sour Team, and he goes, "It's better than the Devil and I," or whatever. And he's like, "All right, regulars enter the test," and so that's where we're gonna leave it off, and we're gonna have the squad form now, and we know some of the backstory with Bam and like why he's doing this. Not to mention that Ryun says that, by the way. We were going to come here and just slaughter all of you because we need a really strong team to go with Bam. Because, again, stressing this, one shot at this, that's it. So we need, like, the strongest squad to go up with him.
But I do think, and actually it's funny because I was literally just reading that comment you have up on the screen, and I think it alludes to the opposing argument here, which is that while it's probably a good idea to ice Jihad, like, as soon as possible, the problem with the tower definitely extends past Jihad. It's kind of like to kill the leader of a country, like, are you targeting the country or the like, you know what I mean? Jihad is the man that at the top, but he's not the reason this tower wouldn't work if everybody didn't listen to him, if everybody didn't abide by him, and if everybody didn't put their selfish needs and wants and desires ahead of other people, right? So there are so I guess, coming from the argument of like, there's the Fug are also clearly not 100% in the right, one, because they're quite literally holding the shit over Bam's head in an attempt to blackmail him, but also because there are other problems in the tower that, like, either we all, the Fug, or whoever could be working to solve that extend past Jihad or will exist once he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we don't exactly know, but, she says that we initially came to kill you all. Yeah. But we're letting you chill for a while. Yeah. And we'll see how it goes. And Wang's like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, it's not off the table, though, so.
Yeah.
Live each day.
Sleep with one eye open.
Yeah, so where am I sleeping? On the sofa or whatever? Wang's just like,
It's like, outside.
Crazy. Honestly. Anyway, so really excited to see what's going to happen in the upcoming chapters here. Like I said, these chapters were a blast to go over, and it was a blast of a live stream.
Like tons of suspenseful
stuff
shit,
and
like
seeing these characters
super
again.
Emotional shit, and
it's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. We're ready to see what the hell happens in the upcoming chapters. But anyway, folks, that's all we have for you today. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive analysis on the chapters that we went over today. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, sharing with your friends, and commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think about our discussion today? And what are your thoughts on Tower of God as a whole? But until next time, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
Later.